The sun was just past its peak, casting short shadows along Broadway Avenue. It was warm enough for people to walk with jackets unzipped, phones in hand, sunglasses perched on heads. A typical day in downtown Richmond. Alicia Morgan stepped out of her office, phone tucked under her ear, reusable coffee cup in hand, scanning the sidewalk like any woman with 10 minutes and a craving for caffeine. Her heels clicked sharply against the pavement. She looked like she belonged because she did. "Yeah, I'll be back in 10. Tell Marcus to hold the email," she said, waving to her assistant as she pushed the glass door closed. Her black slacks were crisp, white blouse pristine, hair pulled back in a tight bun. She was the picture of someone with her life organized and color-coded. No one passing by could guess the depth of knowledge she carried. Alicia wasn't just a community organizer. She held 2 law degrees, 10 years of experience in policy reform, and a seat on the civilian oversight board that reviewed police conduct across Richmond. She knew how systems worked and how they failed. But that day, Alicia wasn't out to fight anyone's battle. She just wanted a soy latte and a glazed donut before her next Zoom call. She turned onto 12th Street, heading for the corner coffee shop, humming softly to her sister on the phone. The sound was quiet, barely enough to cut through the city's hum. Then she noticed the black and white patrol cruiser slowing across the street. Alicia didn't flinch or run. Why would she? She wasn't doing anything wrong. But the way the cruiser crept, tires inching forward like a predator stalking prey, made her grip her phone tighter. She stopped talking mid-sentence. "You still there?" her sister asked. "Yeah," Alicia replied, voice low. "Hold on." The cruiser pulled up beside her, passenger window down, 2 officers inside. One was bald, white, mid-40s, sunglasses hiding his eyes. The other was younger, black, clean-shaven, maybe early 30s. Neither looked friendly. The older officer leaned out. "Ma'am, can we speak with you for a second?" "About what?" she asked, caught off guard. "We got a report. Said you were casing buildings on this block, trying door handles." Alicia stared. "I just walked out of my office. I'm on the phone. I'm not touching anything." "ID?" the younger officer asked, already stepping out of the vehicle. She felt eyes on her, passers-by slowing, watching. 2 women with strollers paused. A man with earbuds pulled one out. No one intervened, but they were watching. Alicia sighed, reaching into her purse slowly. "I'm going to hand you my ID. I'm not resisting. I'd like to keep my voice calm. Okay?" The older cop frowned, as if her composure annoyed him. She handed him her state-issued ID, her name, address, title. "Is this supposed to be real?" he asked, squinting. "That's a legal, government-issued ID," Alicia said, voice steady. "I'm standing on the sidewalk where I work. You can walk 10 feet and verify that." He didn't move. Neither did she. The younger cop looked uneasy, but the older one stepped forward. "Ma'am, turn around. Hands behind your back." "What? You're detaining me? For what?" she asked, louder now. "We got a report. Just following protocol." "I haven't done anything. You haven't asked a single question, just demanded ID and now cuffs." "You're resisting now," he said flatly, reaching for her wrist. And just like that, in broad daylight, Alicia Morgan, legal consultant, policy expert, and board member, was handcuffed on a sidewalk less than 2 blocks from City Hall. But what those officers didn't know was that the woman they just cuffed was about to make a phone call that would unravel their world. The cuffs bit into Alicia's wrists, the cold metal shocking her skin. Her heart didn't race, but her mind did, not with panic, but with calculation. She took a slow breath, staring straight ahead as the older officer gripped her elbow, guiding her to the curb like a common thief. "Name again?" he asked, still holding her ID. "Alicia Morgan," she replied, voice calm, clipped. "Legal consultant, member of the Civilian Oversight Board for the Richmond Metro PD." That made him pause just for a half second. Long enough for Alicia to notice. The younger officer, quiet until now, stepped forward. "Ma'am, we just need to verify a few things. It won't take long." "You've got my ID," she said, locking eyes with him. I haven't been told what I'm being charged with, detained for, or even asked a basic question besides my name. I understand, he said, his tone softening slightly. We're just. No, she cut in, voice low but firm. You're not just. You had a vague call. That's not probable cause. That's not reasonable suspicion. You didn't see me do anything. You approached, ignored my ID, and cuffed me without establishing criminal behavior. That's unlawful detainment. People were stopping now, not just glancing. A woman in scrubs pulled out her phone. A man in a Red Hawks jersey started recording. The older cop turned to block their view, but Alicia raised her voice just enough. I am not resisting. I am not armed. I am being unlawfully detained. Ma'am, the older cop warned, you're not helping yourself here. I'm not trying to help myself, she said. I'm stating facts, officer. You made a mistake, and you're making it worse. The silence thickened. The younger cop shifted, nervous now. Alicia could tell, but he didn't intervene. Not yet. She looked at the ID in the older cop's hand. You've had my ID for 3 minutes. My workplace is a block away. You haven't tried to verify anything. Why? He avoided eye contact. Alicia shook her head. You didn't run my name because you saw a black woman alone and assumed the worst. That's not policing. That's profiling. A voice piped up from behind. She didn't do anything, man. You just rolled up on her. Someone shouted. The older officer snapped. Mind your business. This is my business. The man shot back. You handcuff a woman on the street. We got the right to ask questions. More phones came out. More people gathered. Alicia knew the scene was shifting, but this wasn't over. She took a breath and turned to the younger cop. I'd like to speak to your sergeant. Now, the older one scoffed. He'll get here when he gets here. You're required to call a supervisor if a detainee requests one. You know that. He didn't answer. You've made the wrong call, she said. But it's not too late to do the right thing. The younger officer reached for his radio. Dispatch, Unit 42, requesting supervisor to 12th and Broadway. Civilian requesting contact. The older cop shot him a look. The younger one didn't flinch this time. Alicia closed her eyes for a second, exhaling. She was still cuffed, still under public scrutiny, but the first crack had formed. Now, she said, voice steady. I'd like to make a phone call. The older cop smirked. You're not under arrest. You don't get a call. I wasn't told I was under arrest. I wasn't told anything. You're detaining me, and I'm calling the police commissioner. That got his attention. His jaw tightened. You heard me, she said. Dial it yourself if you want. I'll give you the number. Alicia shifted her weight as the cuffs dug deeper. Officer, she said to the younger one. My phone is in my purse. Inside is the direct line to Commissioner David Langston. I suggest you call before this becomes a story neither of you can explain. He hesitated, just a flicker. She nodded toward her purse. I'm giving you permission to remove the phone and hand it to me. If you refuse, I'll add obstruction to the list. The younger cop looked at his partner. The older one shook his head. She's bluffing. Alicia smiled, the kind that comes when you've already seen the endgame. Try me. A long beat passed. Then the younger officer reached into her purse, pulled out her phone, and held it awkwardly. Unlock it, she said. Code is 1-9-8-0. Go to favorites. He's the second contact. More phones were recording now. Pedestrians stayed put, silent witnesses. A woman whispered, This is about to get good. The officer pressed the screen, putting it on speaker. One ring, two. Then, This is Commissioner Langston. David, Alicia said loudly, eyes on the officers. This is Alicia Morgan. I'm in handcuffs right now on Broadway and 12th. Silence on the other end. Then, You're joking. I wish I were. These two officers, Unit 42, detained me without cause. They haven't verified my ID, haven't stated a charge, and cuffed me within 2 minutes of stopping me. The older officer stepped back, hand on his holster. Not threatening, but out of habit. He looked aware of the crowd. "Put her on the line," Langston ordered. The younger cop, sweating now, held the phone to his ear. "Yes, sir. Yes, she's safe. Yes, sir, she said you were on speed dial. Yes, she's on the board." The pause on his face said it all. Whatever he was hearing wasn't good. "Yes, sir," he repeated. "Right away." He hung up. No one moved. Then, slowly, gently, he unlocked Alicia's cuffs. The metal clinked as it came free. She rubbed her wrists but didn't break eye contact. "Ma'am," the younger officer said quietly, "we apologize." "Not yet," Alicia said, turning to the crowd. "Is everyone recording?" Heads nodded. Cameras rolled. "Good. Keep those videos safe. What happened isn't rare. It just happened to the wrong person today." She faced the older officer. "Badge number." He didn't respond. "I said badge number. Now." He gritted his teeth. 5271. She looked at the younger one. He didn't hesitate. 3924. "Thank you," she said. "You'll be hearing from Internal Affairs." The older cop's face paled. Someone in the crowd shouted. She just flipped the script. Laughter, clapping, a few nods of respect. But Alicia wasn't smiling. "This isn't funny," she said. "This is real. This happens every day to people who don't know what to say, who freeze, who panic, who get hurt or worse. I just happen to know the rules. That shouldn't be the only thing that saved me." She turned to the younger cop. "You want to do right by your badge? Start asking questions, even when your partner doesn't." He didn't speak but didn't look away. Alicia stood on that sidewalk like it was her office. Her phone buzzed. A text from Commissioner Langston. "Internal Affairs contacted. Do not leave. My deputy is en route." The older officer, 5271, paced, whispering into his radio, defensive. The crowd stayed. Someone handed Alicia a water bottle. She nodded thanks, cracked it open, and sipped. Then she cleared her throat. "Since we're waiting," she said, raising her voice, "let's talk facts." People leaned in. "Do you know how many calls come in weekly about suspicious people? No weapons, no crimes, just vague descriptions like black woman or man in a hoodie? Do you know how often those lead to stops, cuffs, or worse?" Someone muttered, "Too many." Alicia nodded. "And do you know how many of those calls lead to consequences for officers who overstep?" Silence. "That's why I joined the oversight board, because I'm tired of hearing the same story from different mouths. People like my nephew, my neighbor, strangers in neighborhoods they pay taxes to live in." The younger cop, 3924, stood off to the side, no longer asserting control. He looked unsure, like the ground beneath him was shifting. Alicia turned to him. "You're about 30. You grew up after Rodney King, Ferguson, George Floyd. You joined this department knowing what it represents. So what will you do? Follow orders blindly or protect and serve?" He opened his mouth, but no words came. Before he could try again, a dark blue unmarked SUV pulled up. Out stepped Deputy Commissioner Laura Hayes, broad-shouldered, suit crisp, sunglasses dark. She walked straight to Alicia. "You all right?" "I'm okay," Alicia said. "Wrist sore. Pride's intact." Hayes eyed the older officer. "You, step aside." He started to speak. She cut him off. "Now." He obeyed, swagger gone. Hayes turned to Alicia. "IA's got building camera footage. We're collecting public videos next. I'm taking your statement. Want to press charges?" "I want accountability," Alicia said. "Not theatrics, not PR." "Understood," Hayes replied. "It's happening." The crowd watched, the energy now clear, not chaotic. Hayes asked, "Anything to add before I make this official?" Alicia glanced at the crowd, then the officers. "Yeah, don't forget the part where I asked for help and got handcuffed. Make sure that's in the paperwork." Hayes nodded, writing. The moment didn't need shouting or hashtags. It was heavy, like air after a verdict. But Alicia knew the real fight was ahead. In rooms with locked doors and long memories. The tension didn't fade, it shifted. Hayes kept writing, her pen sharp. The older officer stood aside, arms crossed, trying to vanish. Alicia didn't let him. "Did you think I was just another black woman with a job and no pull?" she asked, facing him. "Is that what made me a threat? My voice? My presence? My confidence?" He didn't answer. Couldn't. The crowd, though thinner, stayed. Enough to make him feel the heat. "I asked for your badge number earlier," she said. "Say it louder." He stared at the ground, then muttered, 5271. Again. "Badge number 5271, he said louder. She turned to the younger cop. "Yours." 3924, he said quickly, eyes forward. "Thank you," she said. "That's all I needed." Hayes spoke, not looking up. "You both know this is a formal complaint. Internal Affairs will review this by week's end. Video evidence, body cams, and public statements are being compiled. The board will vote on disciplinary recommendations." The older cop flinched. "I was just responding to a call. That's protocol." "You detained her without articulating a crime," Hayes said flatly. "You didn't investigate. You cuffed her because you could, not because you should." Alicia wasn't done. "Do you know how many women like me?" Alicia asked him. "Do you know how tired we are of staying calm just to stay alive?" The older officer opened his mouth, but Hayes held up a hand. "Don't speak unless I ask you." The woman in scrubs was still recording. She gave Alicia a thumbs up. A college student in a black hoodie shouted, "Ms. Morgan, you good? Want us to send this footage somewhere?" "Upload it," Alicia said loudly. "Keep it public. The more eyes, the better." Hayes nodded approval. "Transparency," Alicia added. "It shouldn't depend on going viral, but here we are." A siren broke the silence, but no one moved. Alicia stepped forward. "I've seen this department change policies on paper, pat itself on the back for progress. But progress without accountability is nothing." Hayes looked up. "You have my word. This won't be swept." "I know it won't," Alicia said, "because I won't let it." The older officer shifted, regret flickering on his face. But regret wasn't enough. Alicia turned to Hayes. "One last thing. I want a written apology from this department. Not to me, but to every person stopped, questioned, or cuffed based on fear, not evidence. I want it printed, signed, and mailed to my office. This isn't just about me." Hayes raised an eyebrow. "That's a strong request." "It's a fair one," Alicia replied. "Make it happen." By the time Alicia walked away, the cuff's weight was gone, but their faint red marks remained, a reminder of the system's grip. She didn't return to her office. She stood on the corner, watching the crowd disperse. Some nodded respect. Others mouthed, "Thank you." A young girl, maybe 16, approached hesitantly, phone in hand. "Ma'am, I recorded everything. I never seen anybody do what you did." Alicia smiled faintly. "That's the problem, isn't it?" The girl nodded. "Yeah, I guess it is. Keep that video safe," Alicia said. "Never let anyone tell you your voice doesn't matter." The girl walked away, clutching her phone. Across the street, Hayes was on another call, organizing IA investigators, collecting footage, moving pieces. Alicia knew this wasn't over. But change wasn't supposed to be easy, it was earned. Her phone buzzed, CNN local requesting comment. She ignored it. Back in her office, Alicia typed an email to the Civilian Oversight Board. "I'm requesting an emergency session for Thursday to review field training protocol, anonymous call policies, and body cam deactivation risks. I'll share my experience on record. I recommend drafting a citywide response policy for racially motivated civilian calls. Let's meet this moment or explain why we didn't. Send." She leaned back. Her assistant poked his head in. "You okay?" "No," she said honestly. "But I'm working on it." He nodded and left. Alicia wasn't okay. She was furious, exhausted, and alive. That was enough for now. She opened her phone's camera. Hair frizzed, eyes red, wrist sore. She hit record. "My name is Alicia Morgan. I'm 38, a community organizer, legal consultant, and member of the Civilian Oversight Board. Today, I was handcuffed in public by 2 officers who didn't ask a single question before assuming I was a threat. She paused. I'm not telling you this for sympathy. I'm telling you because if it happened to me with my background, education, and connections, it can happen to anyone. It has happened to thousands. Another pause. Record everything. Ask for badge numbers. Know your rights. And when they say you're being difficult, remember they'd rather cuff you quiet than hear you speak. She stared at the camera, then stopped recording. That video went viral within hours. Not for fame or anger, but because truth hits harder when it's simple, undeniable, and spoken by someone with nothing left to lose. 2 weeks later, the department's apology letter arrived, addressed to every person wrongfully stopped. Alicia framed it on her office wall, next to a photo of her late father, who'd said, "They don't always listen the first time. Make sure they hear you the second." She heard him now, and so would they. The fallout was swift and public. The Richmond Metro PD suspended Officer 5271 pending a full investigation, with Internal Affairs recommending termination after reviewing body cam footage, public videos, and Alicia's testimony. Officer 3924 faced probation and mandatory retraining but kept his badge, a decision Alicia challenged at the next Oversight Board meeting. The board voted unanimously to revise anonymous call protocols, requiring officers to articulate specific criminal behavior before detaining anyone. A citywide policy addressing racially motivated calls was drafted, with Alicia leading the task force. She didn't stop there. Alicia launched a community workshop series, teaching residents their rights during police encounters, how to document incidents, and how to file complaints. The workshops filled up with people like the 16-year-old girl from that day attending, now an organizer herself. Alicia's viral video became a rallying cry, shared across platforms, sparking protests and policy debates nationwide. Months later, standing before a crowd at a Richmond community center, Alicia spoke. "This isn't about one day on Broadway. It's about every day, every person told they don't belong. We don't just demand change, we build it. So keep recording, keep speaking, keep standing. Because when we do, no system can silence us." The room erupted in applause, but Alicia didn't smile. She didn't need to. The red marks on her wrists had faded, but her resolve hadn't. She'd shattered their system that day, and she'd keep breaking it until it worked for everyone. That was her promise, to herself, her father, and every voice that deserved to be heard.